folks. Thank you for attending our Champions in Action virtual kickoff for the 2025-2026 school year. I am here with Susan Toth, who will be your leads and your main contacts for this program for the school year with the Everglades Foundation. I'm monitoring the chat, but Susan is also monitoring the chat as well. If you have questions, but feel free to unmute and just ask away as questions arise. I'm just going to go through some things to keep us all in touch and maybe go over some new developments and new ideas that have been shared and some maybe refresher and reminders of the program. Some of you are new to the program. Some of you are returners. And so we want to just make sure everybody has all the same information as we get started in the new school year. So welcome, welcome. So we'll do a little round table. You can do it in the chat, you can unmute, but depending on if you're able to, if you're driving, don't worry about this part, right? So we just want to kind of introduce you to the folks that are on this call because you are part of the cohort for this school year. And what my hope is that you also will utilize some of these other contacts, maybe in your region or in the program, that will help also answer some of your questions and so forth. So if you would like to tell us where you teach, what county you're from, what you teach, maybe the grade levels you plan on implementing with this program, and maybe some other points if you know this information, how you're going to implement it. Is it with a class or a club or something other with other arrangements? And what do you hope to achieve through participation in the program? So you don't have to say all of this, just pick some of this and just do a little quick introduction and go from there. Christina has her hand raised and she's going to go first.
Yes, I am going to go first. Yes. So, hi, my name is Christina Delgado. I work with American High School Academy. I teach right now 6th to 12th grade. That's the levels that I'm going to be implementing this in. It would be a class. My kids are very, very excited. I have done a little dipping in the toes of what is the Everglades, and they're very excited to go through this. And what do I achieve through this participation in this program is honestly to give awareness to the Everglades, and especially that it is our drinking water. So, yes, that is that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Jody, how about you?
I'm Jody Dukes. I teach in Odessa at Walker Middle Magnet IB World School, which is Tampa. I've been teaching 33 years. I've started the program. This is my first year, and it's going to be my second period, 7th grade class, all 28 of them. And they're trying to figure out what way they want to go with the invasive species. The first thing they were like, oh my gosh, let's do the python. I said, that's the Everglades. Let's come back to Hillsborough County in Central Florida. So that's kind of where we are right now. They're kind of going around in a few circles, but we're trying to rope them back in.
Great. You'll do a lot of roping this school year, just so you know. Let's see. Laura, you just joined us. Sorry. How are you? Do you have volume?
Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sorry, I was running a little late. I was with my doctor getting, checking my stuff.
No problem.
And my partner Sharita is on the call also. And we teach at Robert Rennick Educational Center. We're a special day school for kids with multiple disabilities. And Sharita and I have been working with the kids trying to plan it out a little bit because their ideas are kind of a little more scattered than we thought they would be. So they want to go in a lot of different directions. So we're kind of trying to narrow down their focus a little more.
Perfect. Thank you. Alina.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alina Valentino. I also teach at American High School Academy, as well 6th through 12th. I am tackling the climate change with them. They're actually pretty interested. We have kind of introduced it a little bit through like the Aquaphor system. So I had them actually do that with water bottles and different mediums to measure. So I have some pictures and videos of that. And our next step to kind of bring them into it as well is we're going to make like a big map of Florida and create the I forgot what it was called, but the original waterway and then the cut through Okeechobee, and we're gonna daily fill it with water as well to kind of
KOE.
yeah. Thank you, the KOE. So
Okay.
they like the fact that it's very hands-on, and I implement it on STEM Fridays for them.
Great, thank you. Sandra, I can't see you, but I don't know if you're available. All right, going to my next face on here. All right, Vari, I see that you shared. Do you want to unmute and share or? Oh, there's no sound. We'll come back to you.
Yeah.
All right. Griselle, are you available?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. It's my camera. I don't know. I had to check what is going on with the computer.
No, you just look like you're at the beach.
Yeah.
We're all jealous.
I wish. So I teach STEM engineering and ecology. This year I'm teaching few other subjects.
They're working.
And I teach at New River Middle School in Broward County, 6 to 8. And I'm doing it through continue with my club, which used to be 25 members. Now I have 60 members because of the Everglades champions last year. And we are keep going. We started the year with new donations through our we're working on the mangroves, so to bring them to the living shore that we have. It's a big project that the school has. And then we got donations from University of Florida, and then hopefully we're gonna be restoring that part of the school and getting more donations to, because it's cost money to keep growing.
Great. Thanks for the update and welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Sharita, do you want to share something, or are you and Laura as one whole?
Oh yeah, that's my sister at work, sister at heart, sister in Christ. No, I'll share again. We're at ESC Center, Robert Rennick Educational Center in Dade County. We right around the corner from the Dolphin Stadium. I teach biology, physical science, and chemistry. High school level, 9th through 12th grade. Again, we're ESC Center School. I would teach it through the class, and I did the 2-day class in July that was down south off of Old Cutler Road, and I was just like, it just brought me back when I started in elementary school many years ago, and we used to do the Everglades trip down to the Everglades Park. So I just want to, sometimes our ESC students, they're not privy to what's happening. And when I spoke of the Everglades, they were like, huh? It's like, nobody's never been to the Everglades. So between Laura and I, we try to give them, a little bit of the world that's right here in our back door in terms of a beautiful national park, and that we have to, make sure we preserve it. So I was hook, line, and sinker. Laura and I, we interchange hand in hand. Her students are a little bit lower than my students. So between the two of us and our classes, we try to get it done. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for sharing and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Alex, I see your head floating. Are you able to?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. I'm just getting home from work now, but I teach veterinary assisting and have an agricultural program at William H. Turner Tech. That's in Miami, for those of you who may not know. I teach 9 through 12, and the way I kind of plan to implement this is as interest through it'll be a mixture of 9, 11, 10, and 12. So it'll kind of serve within the club that we have. We have actually two different clubs, which is first the FFA, and then secondly, it'll be through a club that we have called Gen 2050. I hope that it kind of just achieves that level of awareness in kids. I've always had a really huge affinity for the Everglades since I was little. And I think it'll just kind of bring a lot more awareness and bigger scale problem and solution that that they hopefully realize and solve.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for coming tonight. All right, Vari, is your tech working? All right, we'll come back if he has it. All right. So the rest of you have joined us. If your camera's off, I'm just gonna assume that you're not able to join in just yet. But if not, then unmute and go from there. All right. Well, just a little introduction of myself and Susan, if you don't already know us. My name is Alicia Torres. I am the Pre-K through 12 Champion Schools Program Manager and the primary contact for the 6 through 12 to help you along the way. Susan is also there as a support to answer and meet with your students, answer questions, give you guidance as we meet with you all on our one-on-ones and provide you support throughout the school year. So either way, if you contact either one of us, we will reply or get you to the right person and go from there. So I am excited to know this program has been in effect for 5 years. And so we have lots of things and new developments as it's growing that you all have shared with us every year. Maybe how can we better support you? And we're continuously working on that. But that alone, I wanted to share and remind us all like why we're here talking about the Everglades in general. Most of you already have this built-in passion for the Everglades, but here's one of a little video from the Everglades Foundation that I thought was kind of inspiring for me, and I was like, ooh, let me share that with our teachers as a reminder. It's also available on our YouTube channel if you want to share this with your students as well. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if the audio does not work for some reason.
America's Everglades, home to 2,000 species of plants and animals, 9 million Floridians, countless tourists, and major industries rely on it every day for water, clean, abundant water. This water is what connects the Everglades to our communities, to our economy, and to our environment. And this critical connection is under threat. Restoring this landscape and protecting America's Everglades for future generations is the work of thousands, but the mission of a single organization. In 1993, two fishing buddies decided this place was worth fighting for. Together, they formed the Everglades Foundation, the first science-based organization advocating for America's Everglades. In Washington, we laid the groundwork to restore the flow of clean, fresh water back to the Everglades. Rooted in science, our disciplined, fact-based approach ensures that restoration will deliver benefits to all Floridians and not just special interest groups. And we are making progress. For the first time in a century, clean, fresh water is flowing south beneath the Tamiami Trail, making its way down to Florida Bay, helping fight against the effects of climate change. Today, reservoirs are being built to the east, west, and south of Lake Okeechobee, protecting our estuaries, our fresh water, and this vital landscape for generations. For Florida, it means thousands of new jobs, and a solution to a water crisis that threatens our 21st century economy. For America, it protects 4 national parks, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and our nation's largest mangrove forest, a landscape found nowhere else on the planet. Today, our Everglades Literacy Program has reached more than 150,000 students across the state of Florida, engaging schools and training teachers to educate the next generation of Everglades advocates. It's been said, the Everglades is a test. If we pass it, we may get to keep the planet. Through scientific discovery, education, advocacy, and strategic partnerships, we are committed to passing this test. We are the Everglades Foundation. Join us in saving America's Everglades. Save what's yours.
I just thought that was a great video that maybe you can introduce your students, and also just to remind you all like why we're here and the value of this program, and that you are part of this mission. It's not only our mission with the Everglades Foundation, but now it becomes part of your mission as well, to help us to reach that mission by advocating with your students and working with your students through this program. So I just wanted to share that as a reminder and inspiration, as it did for me. So just a reminder of the program. What is Everglades Champions in Action? You might hear us shortcut that to CIA, which is Champions in Action, but it is for middle school and high school students, where you are working as a teacher to facilitate a process with students so that they can become engaged with their community and take action for sustainable changes that are going to be connected to policies and practices. And during this process, they'll investigate what's happening in their local community, identify issues that they care about, develop a plan to improve the community, and put those plans in action. I know some of you are already sharing the beginning, like, I got to rope in my students, and that's exactly what you will be doing in the beginning, and we'll go from there. But at least they're excited, and I love that Grisella shared that the growth in her students engagement went from 25 to 60 in 1 year, just because of the first year that they had. So thank you for sharing that. So I think I already shared this as well in email, but I wanted to share, some of you asked for dates in advance, so I wanted to provide you with that on your wish list. So here are some dates, and I will share it with you so you can print it, and it will be a PDF. The PDF that I email these links are will take you connected to exactly where they're supposed to go, like take you to the reporting form, take you to the Zoom meetings that we're having, and so on. But just as our check-in dates, if you are returning to the program, I've added, this may be a little bit different because I've added some more dates to check in to kind of keep you on track so that you will finish the program on time. So we are already here on October 1st doing our first virtual kickoff. We will check in November or December, Susan and I, to do a one-on-one with you all. So we will schedule a meeting. You'll hear from me or Susan. Please reply to it so we can schedule you all and make sure you're on track. What you're going to do there is discuss like your progress so far and we can answer any questions. Christina.
Just out of curiosity, where should we be in that November, December check-in?
So that's a great question. So we'll check in there, but by December 12th, we're expecting you to have steps 1 and 2 finished in some of your lessons. So anywhere between there and is your kind of, if you're going to be on time, you would be ready to hit that December 12th deadline. Does that make sense?
Okay, so in each of the 3 lessons, We should be at step 1 and 2.
Yes, steps 1 and 2 of the Earth Force process, and then your toolkit lessons. I would say at least the Everglades Foundation's toolkit lessons, you would have finished at least 2 of those. 2 of the 3 would be a good
Okay,
gauge.
thank you.
Yep, good question.
And if you've gone beyond step 2, you're ahead of the game.
Correct. Yeah, you don't have to stay here, but if you're moving along faster, by all means, move along, right? But these are just check-in points and where you should be as far as the program goes. December 12th, steps 1 and 2 of the Earth Force process that you've all been trained in should be completed on your final reporting form, and I'll go over where to find that. But basically, your final reporting form you should be adding to throughout the school year, and building on that, and just saving it as a draft until it's ready to be submitted. Okay, I can see all of the work that you've submitted at any given time. During that phase, you will also have completed 2 out of your 3 toolkit lessons from the foundation. By January 14th, we will have another virtual group meeting for everybody, just to kind of check in and share some ideas. February 10th, steps 3 and 4 are due. And during that steps 3 and 4, you have a goal strategy statement. If you remember from the training, we reviewed what some of those look like, and there was a template provided in your binder. We're expecting you to upload the most edited and proofread by a teacher version of this that is also readable on our end so that we have a good idea of where your group has been, okay, or is. By February and March, Susan and I will do another round of check-ins that are one-on-one with you all. Same process. We will email you all and see how you're going. By February and March, you should really be in the action phase and implementing with your students whatever strategies they have selected to reach their goals, to reach change. And then everything is due by May 14th. Your final reporting form has all of the content uploaded to it. It has your video that you are to create and uploaded to it. It has any evidence or documentation of your lessons uploaded. It has media release forms uploaded. Everything that you need to turn into us, that should be uploaded by May 14th.
Did you see Project Story video?
Yes, they're videos, Project Story videos. Yes, everything will be turned in by then. What happens after then and why that deadline is really important to us at the foundation is that we are trying to review all of those in time so that we can recognize you all at our virtual celebration of champions, that is K-12, that we do in the first week of June. So the more that gets delayed, the less time we have to review those. So yes, Christina.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be a bug. Do we have a portal that we could upload all of these? I already have my media release forms. Is there a portal that we could go in to already start putting those things in, or do we just keep them in a folder and wait for your okays?
No, I'm going to show you actually tonight exactly where that is to go.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's what we call the final reporting form. Everything gets uploaded to there, and you can add to it throughout the school year. So when you do a lesson, you add to it. When you do your media releases, add to it, right? That kind of thing. All right.
And it's ready to go, right, Alicia?
It is ready to go. In fact, that's our next slide, is how do you access your final reporting form? So, as you already know, on our website, there is a champions tab for 6 through 12. Under the steps, it says step 1, 2, and 3. Under step 3, it says submit your final reporting form. So you can click on that, and I would recommend you to bookmark that so that you will continuously come back to it at any time. And then it's going to take you to an external application software program that's called submit.com. So you might get an email from them once you start on this, but it's called submit.com. This is what the first page will look like. If you are a first time user, you need to register first. There's a little button in the top right hand corner that says register. What you're going to do is add your email, create a password, and it should save that for you. Christina.
Yes, again, I am so sorry. You're gonna hear from me a lot. I have a lot of questions.
It's okay.
Is that on the evergladeliteracy.org?
Yes.
I'm
Susan,
on it.
can you put that the champions page in the chat, Susan, for them?
Please, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so on the evergladesliteracy.org, on the top, you see champions tab, Christina, and then you'll see a drop down for 6 through 12.
I'm on it. I don't see it. I see 6 to 12 grades champion in action, about how to participate, program resources, meet our champions. And then all the way in the bottom is your email, Alicia.
You don't see the steps 1, 2, and 3?
No.
Let me go to the.
Let me go in separately, Alicia, and see.
Let me go to the website. Do you all see the website now? Okay. So
Yes.
under champions tab here, you're going to go to the champions tab, select 6 through 12, and then you'll scroll down, and this is where it has here, step 3.
Yes, 6 to 12. Okay, perfect. I got it.
If you go down further, there'll be program resources, and we'll talk about those in a minute, but it's all on this page. Okay, so what I recommend you do tonight or tomorrow is to log in, create your profile, and then save it so that you can go through and see where all of your questions, where you're to upload all of the questions and such, or your answers rather. Any questions on your final report? Okay. All right, so this is kind of what it looks like when you log in. It'll start asking you questions that are in your final report. On the right-hand side is your navigation bar, and you can go in and add to the questions or answer the questions as you have them. You don't have to do it in order. You can, float around and answer the questions or upload your documentation for your lessons when they're done and so forth. But one of the main things that's important here on this first one says, what is the name of your school? Please put the full name of what you want on your recognition materials so that we have accuracy there, okay? No abbreviations, please. And just a review of this program criteria, what you're expected to do this school year. You should have already done this professional development. If not, you would have already heard from me. So you're all here because you have fulfilled this. There was 2 professional developments that you needed to do, and that was your Everglades literacy teacher training with somebody on our team, and the Everglades civic action training that you did probably with myself or Susan or both of us. The next part is your curriculum integration. Minimum of 3 lessons from our toolkit, the Everglades Literacy Toolkit, is taught to your students. Now, we prefer you to select ones from the middle or high school level, but we know that your students are at varied levels, and we also know that we have topics that maybe we don't have lessons for in the middle or high school, things like the invasive species. We have those in our 5th grade lessons, right? So you can modify any of these up or down for your students. What I don't want to see is you're utilizing the kindergarten, for example, sorting cards, and calling that as credit for your middle and high school students. Robert Rennick, you know what to do over there with your level of students. You can do it. You know what to do with the lessons. So give you the freedom pass on that one. Then we have, while you're doing your curriculum integration, please take photo evidence of that so that it shows what you're doing and what it looks like in your classroom. What we don't want to see are copies of our lesson plans. We know what our lesson plans look like. We want to see what it looks like with your students. So pictures of student engagement, pictures of student work. You do not have to show their faces if you don't want to. You want to just be able to connect what lessons you did, how many students received those, and we want to see kind of what their journey is like. This will also help, any photo evidence that you create will also help with building your student project story for this process as well. And then, of course, where we know about the civic action portion, you're following the Earth 4 6-step process. You're selecting one of these 4 areas. That's where you're going to start. Where you may end up may be different, and that's okay. So water quality and quantity, invasive species of Florida, plants or animals, habitat degradation, endangered or threatened species of Florida. Those are your overarching. And then your final submission, which we've kind of just mentioned, is submitting your final report with your student work and their project video stories all in there. This is all due May 14th, which you already are familiar on our deadline. Any questions about the criteria? You all should have the binder that has a more in-depth explanation of all of this on your program criteria. So that's all in your binder, just as a reminder. You've heard me use Earth Force. If you've done a training before with us, which you have, it's just a reminder that Earth Force is a partner with us so that we are using their 6-step model of community action, civic action process. And this is just that reminder that this is providing a framework of what that looks like. You can use their resources beyond our resources in our binder. You're free to explore with them. They are very broad though. And we are taking their very broad topic and focusing on Everglades as what we shared. So Susan, I'm going to let you take over and talk about civic action and environmental action as a reminder.
Sure. Well, you've been through the training with us, so we've talked about this in our trainings. I'm going to start with environmental action. Does anybody want to add to the chat, an example of environmental action? More than one. I'd love to see a couple of contributions in the chat, unless you're just too tired. I'll give you a moment. Okay, recycling. Good one. Uh, can any of you share like the environmental? Oh, okay. Water waste conservation, beach cleanup, excellent. Okay. Habitat restoration, you got it. All right. So you guys know that taking environmental action can be by an individual, it can be by a group, but it's doing something to improve or address some environmental concern in the community. Excellent, Jody. Yeah, mangrove planting. You guys have got it. Well, so we keep coming back to, and that's awesome. All of those are awesome. But what our program is aiming for is that the environmental action actually becomes civic action. And we know from our workshops and those of you that are returning, by that we mean that you're either changing a policy around your environmental concern, your issue, or you're changing how people behave around that issue. And we wanted to kind of come back to this as we kick off this year with the meet and greet, because what we see with some projects is they do an excellent job with environmental action, but they never quite get to how did they change their community, either the people's behavior or an overall policy. And in some cases, I'll review final reports and I'll be like, oh, but they were that close to civic action, seeing a change in their community, either in the people in their community or a policy in their community. And they just didn't quite get there. So yes, Vari, we want you to really work with your students this year, push them in that timeline to that if you do a mangrove planting, how now you've changed the environment there, but how have you changed either people or policy? If you do a project on campus where you're developing new areas of native plantings, awesome. But how can you take that a step further and somehow get the community involved so that community behaviors change as well? I don't know. I'll stop there. Questions, comments. It's taking that environmental action that so many of us are very comfortable with, but pushing it to that that change in policy or practice. And we know step 3 of the whole process is the kids research what are the policies, if there are any, or practices that surround their issue. Yeah, and there's the hardcore definitions on the screen. But yeah, any questions, comments, or just really, you know, tuck that away so that this year you're sure that you're really looking at changing either how people are behaving or changing a policy, either one that wasn't there and now you've helped create one, your students, or one that wasn't being enforced, and now the students have figured out a way to make that happen, etc. Okay,
Thanks, Susan.
sure.
And just a reminder of the process, like in your binder, you have all of the steps of what it takes to create this civic action change that Susan was referring to. So just a reminder, like you should be at this stage here. It's step 1 where you're introducing your this concept or idea to your students, building some student engagement, and you're doing some investigations in your community, doing these inventories so that you can then pick your selection of your issue that you're all going to work on, and then start doing some of your policy and practice research. Then you'll end up selecting some goals and strategies to help you with your process, including the asking for change in a way to make this measurable impact, taking that action, and then reflecting on it as a whole, right? This is what your year will look like. And some of those topics that Susan was referring to as far as community practice or policy, I just wanted to share some of these organizational charts. You've seen these before in our trainings, but maybe these are new ones. But these are just ideas of, if you take that overarching topics that we've given you, that is just an overarching topic. That is not your issue, right? Or your concern or focus. You have to narrow that down to an issue and then narrow it down even farther to the action or change that's actually going to happen, right? So for example, and that kind of leads us into these, like even if you are all of you are working on water quality, for example, there's so many issues referring to water quality that could be a focus, and then so many different types of actions that could be done, and then determining if those are focusing on a change in people's behaviors or change in policy. Okay, I'll just let you look at these for a minute. Right. So one of the processes when you're working with your students, we want to really emphasize, you'll hear from Susan and I constantly saying, well, was this your idea or was your student's idea? So I know most of you almost can't contain yourself to have your own ideas work coming into this, but we really want you to kind of let go of the reins a little bit and empower your students along the way in this process, that they're developing additional skills that are lifelong skills that they will take with them, so that they understand that maybe even past your class or course or club, that they will know how to take action in their community and change policy or people's behavior beyond you, right? Like once they've moved on into this adulthood. But I love this video here about what student-led means, and I wanted to share this with you.
I'm currently a senior in high school, and I'm currently a student representative on the Earth Force board. Student-led and like the Earth Force process, it was a lot about me and my peers coming up with ideas and then acting on them. It felt like we could really make an impact because we had a lot of support from our teacher. Like we had the guidance to do it, but it was like me and my peers, we were the ones researching, we were the ones writing the emails, we were the ones actually talking to people. Everything that we did was our decision based on however we wanted to do it as the students. For adults, I would say just like kind of foster that environment, like gives young people that authority or power that you might give to just someone else, that another adult that you're talking to.
I love hearing from them because it's like, yes, it's a reminder that they can do this. So just a reminder of the roadmap. If you are on the path to whether you're just saying, is this am I giving the students this power? Am I not? And just kind of reminder of some of this roadmap that you're on with your journey is that you're working together with your students, right? As in that last video. You're also having the students responsible for the tasks throughout. This is not something for you to be doing as far as all of the tasks that need to be done. These are the tasks that be assigned to your students. You're there to keep them on track and make sure, maybe reviewing them, maybe editing them, maybe going over those and keeping them on track. Making sure that all their voices are heard is very valuable as well. Making sure that you are connecting with your community, that you're also, the action portion is relating back to what Susan talked about, is you're changing policy or aiming to change people's behavior, which we call community practices. And then also think about the long-term impact on it, and is it measurable? How are you going to measure the things that you're going to change this year, and keeping track of that? This is a resource too that you can use with your students. I will share this afterwards. This is an Earth Force resource that kind of shares, like, it's like a rubric to see if you are getting there to becoming an environmental citizen, which you can use with your students. So I just wanted to ask you, maybe one or two people, or you can use the chat feature. I am aware of our time, so I have some other slides, but I wanted to ask you maybe how you're going to build that student engagement with your students. Have you thought about that? And if you want to drop it in the chat of ways that you plan on doing that, keep them interested. Right now, you're in that student buy-in phase, right? So just as a reminder, you can use our toolkit lessons to build that understanding. You can use some schoolyard investigation. Be great if that doubles for your inventories, right? Using the survival mode method, yes. Using some field experiences, right, to build their connection to the environment. Maybe they're collecting some type of data and so forth. And hopefully you can use that as part of your community building as well. We do have, I think I made an announcement earlier, but some of our returners might not know this information, but we do have a new water quality video series coming up, with using Richard Kern as part of our video series. And we have some activities that's going to go with it. So that's hopefully going to be here before, by November is my goal, by November. Yeah, bringing professionals to talk to your students and get them excited. That's great. Mackenzie. Right now it's been easy because
Awesome.
they're excited. And yeah, it is usually easier in the beginning to get them excited. And then you got to just keep that momentum, right? How does that stay with you throughout the rest of the school year? Yeah. Vari says they wanted to always do something with the courtyard. Now they have something. Now they have a purpose. Absolutely. All right.
That's awesome.
In your binder, that is your educator's guide. I keep coming back to it because it really has so many things in it that's going to help guide you through this school year. So it should be right next to you at all times, right? Inside there is your teacher planning guide. If you did a training with us, we asked you to complete this implementation guide and submit it to complete the training portion. You do not have to submit this to us every single year. If you have just did a training with us on Saturday or last week, then yes, yours is due on October 4th. However, the rest of you will not have to do that over and over again because you just did that with as part of your training requirement. But that doesn't mean you can't use this as a guide throughout the school year to kind of think of how your school year is going to go. You can reuse one of the ones you had or come up with new one as your year changes, but it is under a blank one is located under your program resources. There's a digital version of this educator's guide, and you can reprint out those few pages 9 through 13 from there. Yep, having a guided field trip, that's great, Manal. All right. Also, under your program resources, this is your binder, but remember you have your educators guides, just a refresher. Every step is in there, the purpose, the summary, what your what the teacher's supposed to do, what are the students supposed to do. All of that is in your binder as well. So make sure you utilize this educator's guide. Also, under program resources on that webpage, we've added some other things that may be new to some of our returners, but we have your digital version of the tips cards. If you came to a training, you were given the hard copies of these, but if you want to get your students connected in maybe groups, and those tips cards are under our program resources. The Everglades Foundation also has a YouTube channel that is probably geared more towards your grade level 6 through 12. So I would tell you, like all media, right, make sure you go through it, review it before you share it with your students. But that video that I shared with you earlier today is here. It's that first one. It's our main one, but there's some other videos down here talking about restoration projects. You can use, some are shorter than others. So just review and see if those are any of those interests for you. There's some science content in there as well. Something also new that we developed this year that's under program resources is kind of like, where do I start with all of those Everglades literacy lessons that are in your toolkit? So once you have decided what you kind of want your overarching topic to be, we've kind of groomed through our lessons in the toolkit to give you some direction of what lessons would be best suited for that overarching topic. This resource is also on our website under program resources. So if you were just introducing what the KOE watershed is to your students, maybe you're using like the Heart of a Watershed model, building that model with Play-Doh and getting them started. And so it's divided by each of these bands. Also, the video resources are linked there. We also have on our website what we call additional instructional resources. They're not toolkit lessons, but if you're looking for smaller bits and other types of activities, you might find some that are in there. Like if you're focusing on mangroves, I think we have some on mangroves in there in this additional instructional resources. Susan and I will tell you continuously, this media release form has to be signed by your students and their parents for anybody that is going to be in your video or pictures shown or anything that you're going to supply to us. So it is a digital version on our website. It's even fillable, right? So just download it, add it. If you get them now, that's what I recommend, so that you have them all, and we'll go from there. Megan, can we have digital versions of the task cards to post on our, yes, they're on the tips cards you're talking about the tips cards, I'm assuming, right? So I think you're talking about the tips cards. You can download the tips cards and then upload them however you want. They're under program resources as well.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I didn't realize that.
Perfect. Laura, did you have a question?
Can I get a print copy of, I know you sent it in before, but a print copy of the media release form? Some of our parents struggle with literacy and computer issues, so the print paper works better for many of ours.
Yes, it's all available there to be downloaded to print. Today, I also emailed all of you that mini grants are now open and live. So if you did your commitment form on time, then you got this information. So mini grants is also under program resources. Everything I give you, I try to keep it under program resources, so it's the same one place for everything. But these are up to $1,000 for you to apply for field experiences. Okay, so we're accepting applications. We review those about every 2 weeks and approve them along the way, and then go from there. And we do run out of money, so get it in early if you would like to take advantage of this. Okay. Just a reminder that your project story videos are basically the story of how they developed their project, what their results, the important parts. This could be a PowerPoint with a voiceover. That's perfectly fine. That's why you want to continuously document all the things that they have in a portfolio or some type of folder, so that you can have this reference for later. Make sure you build your project, give you enough time to do your video story in your timeline. Okay. Criteria is also on our website under program resources. It is also in your binder. We're almost finished. There are, as I mentioned, EarthForce has a lot of other resources, but their website, you can go to earthforce.com, but they have what they call a community hub, an alliance, Environmental Action Alliance. And here's their website at the bottom. I can maybe drop that in the chat. Oh, just kidding. Their alliance is basically a live community that you can interact with folks. You can interact with EarthForce folks on there. We don't really monitor that, but you can ask other folks that are doing environmental action, civic action as well. So what they have on that I wanted to highlight, maybe you could use this with your students as well. On the left-hand side, they have resources, and some of those resources might be like videos for each of the steps that you might want to share with your students, and so forth. So there's lots of things on there. They have resources, they have communication back and forth, and going from there. My goal, I can't promise you, but my goal, we're doing some changes in technology at the foundation, is to develop a Teams channel just for you all. So that we can interact, and it would be directly with the cohort that's participating in Champions in Action this year. So my first thing is to have all of the names, because I have to give it to our tech person at one time. Now that I have those, I'm hoping that that's going to be developed pretty quickly, and I'll share once that's off the ground with you all. So I think that'll be a great addition for this school year. Oh, look at that. It's 6:15. So of course, you can always connect with us. Myself and Susan, you always get our emails, and know where to find us. But let us know how we can help you. go from there. And if you have any questions, you can ask them now or wait until it's over, and we'll stick around for a few more minutes. Somebody was asking, does anyone have collaborative video editing programs they'd like to use with the students?
Julia, I would say Canva